On the renewable side, it's a very nice story of an integrated business, producing a lot of ethanol, both bioelectricity, biomethane, but we are very bad as Brazilians to talk about it and attract new investments in Brazil. So cellulosic ethanol, it's a very interesting piece of the equation because you use technology that Shell started more than 15 years ago. Nobody managed to crack the code of producing ethanol from waste. And we finally, when we did it, we were producing more than 50, 60% more ethanol without one single additional farmland or one. So that's really what the world needs on the renewable side, is how to make renewable products financially viable without subsidies. And we're producing and exporting in large scale. The point for me is always how to make these large scale, because otherwise we will not find a way. We're seeing what's happening in Brazil right now with the fires, and it's very tough to do the energy transition without scalable business and profitable business. That's the point. If you talk to Shell today, Wael, who is the new CEO, the only thing he asked me is, he called me my surname, Musa. I said, Musa, what I need from Raízen is a profitable renewable. I'm fed up about all those projects of renewables that rely on subsidies. We need to have something that is scalable, sustainable, and profitable at the same way. So it's not easy to have that. So we can use less bagasse to run the mill, use solar and wind to run our facility, and export energy in a liquid format to places like Europe, Japan, California, and here to US. So that, for me, it's technology that Mother Nature did a very good job having the battery there, how convert that into a liquid format. When you have a liquid fuel, you don't need additional infrastructure. It's already there. You have the tanks, the ships, the vessels, the trucks, and you can blend. So for the transition, when you talk about energy transition, it's perfect because you don't need to make huge investments. Of course, hydrogen will come, but it will take some time.
Europeans get much greater credit for the sort of second-generation ethanol you produce.
The Europeans, they have a big concern about food versus fuel debate. So they want waste-based biofuels to make it work. And because we are producing ethanol from the waste, it's classified as advanced biofuel, so you have a high premium on that. And what we did was...
And there's incentive for them to blend it into their fuel.
Blend it in,
and when it's waste-based, they get even higher incentives.
So what we did was we are only building plants with long-term contracts. So 85% of our production for the next 15 years is already committed with 13, 14 clients from all major oil companies with minimum price guarantee. So it's a way for us to make the investments at a very low risk of doing that. But it takes, we are not used to that.
I mean, this is super exciting because, you know, we always say the big thing we need if we're going to achieve the climate transition is we need solutions for everything, for energy, for transport, for agriculture, for buildings, for heat, that are default choice of rational actors, as we call it. They come down to the cost where it's just a no-brainer to do, but that requires these catalytic investments. So that's very exciting.
There's 3 recommendations. One is increase renewable production. There is numbers behind it. McKinsey did a very good job on getting that. Second one is efficiency. Work on efficiency, reduce consumption. And the third one is what we call nature-based solutions, is how to pay for people not to deforest. I'll give you an example in our country. We have a lot of forests in our country, but we need to find a way to compensate for those farmers that they can't deforest because the legislation allows them to deforest, but we need to find a way of paying for the forest that is out there. That's what we call nature-based solutions. So those 3 are the 3 recommendations.
COP30 is coming up in Brazil next year.
Same,
So we can reunite and see how he's gone on these 3 priorities. But also, who's going to COP next year in Brazil, by the way? Have you decided yet?
Belém,
oh, great, lots of people. Yeah, and we'll be there as well. I think there's a lot of excitement about that COP and also about, as you say, nature-based solutions with the beautiful forest land there, a lot of which is burning as we speak. But what are some of your ambitions?
I think we do have an advantage because Lula, the current president of Brazil, he wants to leave some legacy. But one thing that he's doing right now, he's really embraced the idea of Brazil becoming a powerhouse on this discussion. So we are leading the G20, leading the COP30. So it's a very unique. So I'm getting a lot of support from the Brazilian government.
Brilliant.
So it's a good opportunity for Brazil to position and lead. Not many things that Brazil is leading edge. And when you're talking about energy transition, Brazil is really...
Brazil basically went on this before many countries.
I saw and please don't quote me on that, but if you look into the metrics or the ambition of Shell for 2050, that's where we are today. So we do in a very good position as a country. 85% of our power is coming from renewable-based. If you take the fleet, 92% of the fleet are flex fuel using ethanol. So we are really leading the case. So that's the pace. So COP30 and G20 are good opportunities also for Brazil to show the way. We are part of the solution, not of the problem.